Hello, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxtrot, on show tonight. It's the one and only Bridgeman and well, allegedly young Port Bear. How are we doing, gentlemen?
I'm fine, mate. How's yourself and how's Bridgeman?
Can I just say a huge good evening to you guys? Massive good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Yeah, obviously, we've heard a bit of me and Bridge for the last few nights. Port, there's been a lot happening in your club this week. We'll have your thoughts, mate.
Aye, probably. Sad week, mate, in regards to Walter hit that first, if that's alright. Never in all my 44 years has a player or a manager or a club ever affected me. Sadly. I was going to phone in on the other night. I was at work just to give him pay my respects and stuff when you were on the other night. I couldn't. I absolutely couldn't. And I'm not really like that. I'm not really like that as a person. You know, but he basically was a big part of the best years of my Rangers supporting life as a young lad. You know, working Glaswegian supporter as well of the club. And it's very rare. You get that oxygen now. You know, the guys actually from Glasgow support the club as his upbringing. And I think he did a great affinity with the fans and success that brought, you know, pretty close to him to us, basically. 21 trophies during his time, mate. Manchester. Fantastic times, mate. But what a man. I'm going to echo some of the words of some of the guys that were on during the week. He's up there with the likes of Busby, Steen, Alex Ferguson, all the greats in my opinion. What a man he was, what a man.
Alright, I'd accept a lot of that, and I think a lot of that's just and well said, but I'm not accepting your 44. Bridgeman?
Because I was the one that mistakenly said I thought he was slightly older than that. And then he corrected me, so I got to accept the fact that he said he's 44. I wouldn't know. You just don't know when people are telling you fibs or anything like that, you know what I mean? And you don't want to say it to their face, you know? What the hell? I thought you were a bit older, that's all.
Fair comment, just check it. 1977.
Yeah, alright, we believe you thousands, wouldn't we? He still gets IDs and they start laughing when he says he's 44. Right, okay, right.
1977, aye, right?
Aye, 1877, Merlin. Right. Right, okay. Not everybody can have the soft and youthful complexion that me and you've got, Bridge, can they?
Aye, used to Bath and Oil, you don't you?
I'll tell you, boy. Yeah, good
right.
for the night.
Where are we? Right, okay. Fitting words about Walter Smith, mate. I think you're right. A Rangers legend, yeah. We see that a lot when people pass, but I think the affinity that's the support held Walter in. I think basically he was one of our own that done good, and everybody likes to see that Port Bear. I think that's a fair comment. On the football front, well, we could debate that. We could go on and that. But I'll tell you what we're going to do. We've got the manager. I think it's important that we're here for him,
100%.
And then we can see where we're going to take this and we can get the phone lines open. What do you think, Bridge?
Go for it. Absolutely.
And we have the boss on the reception in the evening. Anybody want to speak to the boss?
The boss?
The boss. Right, okay. Let's hear for our manager, Stephen George Gerrard.
Stephen, sum up the challenge of Motherwell coming off the back of that midweek game.
Always tough. I think every away game in the SPL obviously comes with different challenges. I'm sure they're going to fancy it after the result they got at Ibrox. But it's an opportunity for us to go and perform well and try and grab a big away performance. So it's a game we're looking forward to.
How much frustration is there in the fact that I think you've gone behind a lot more this season than you did last season? Do you look at that and do you say that's a frustration, or do you sum up the character by saying I think you've won 10 points from losing positions this season?
Listen, we look at everything, good or bad or indifferent. That's what we do. That's what we're paid to do. That's our jobs. We analyse a lot of things about the players from an individual point of view, and certainly from the team. And if something's popping up more often than not and it needs fixing, we'll work as hard as we can to try and address that situation. So we certainly won't be ignoring anything good or bad. And it's an opportunity to try and get better in that area. But it's certainly something that we've noticed as well.
The players have had an opportunity to come out fighting after those setbacks, but haven't done. Does that surprise you, disappoint you? Just want to get your take on that.
Well, I'll have to have a different opinion than yourself on that, if that's your own personal opinion. I think if you listen to a lot of stuff on social media and outside noise, sitting in my position, I think your point's certainly very believable. From the inside, I see a group of boys that are willing to work hard and fight as hard as they can. It's an absolute pleasure to work with a team that's lost one league domestic game in 50. I haven't heard that or seen that written on the outside. So I think sometimes it's a case of perception. But in my job, I believe there's a lot of fight, there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of good players in my group. And I've got every belief and confidence that we can move forward. Yes, we've got issues to fix and address. Yes, we've had some setbacks and some challenging times, fixtures and results together. I always like to be honest. But what I would say is I think your personal opinions come from perception and noise from the outside of this group.
Okay. My second question to that would be that, in recent weeks there are people of the opinion that Rangers are getting favourable decisions from referees. Just wanted to get your take on that.
I've heard that a lot. But again, it comes from the outside, and it normally comes amongst a social media crowd from opposition teams. I'm sure VAR would be your next question if you had a third question. And my point is, 12 months ago, everyone was slaughtering VAR, saying it wasn't good for the game. It's slow. It's not even getting decisions right. This year, I must say, it has improved a lot, and I'm enjoying it an awful lot more. And I'll back up what I've said on many a times. When VAR is in, it will take all them opposition opinions away from coming my direction. But look, there's a clear share pull. I know the one you're alluding to. There's a share pull. Whether that was enough to be a penalty or not, that was John Beaton's decision, not my own. It went our way. And I'm sure every manager will say the same thing over the course of a season. Some you get, and you'll feel like, maybe the luck went your way. And there'll be times when you think you should have got something and you never, and you feel a bit of an injustice. Over the course of a 38 league game, you're going to get some and some you won't.
First of all, can you give us a squad update in terms of the fitness after Wednesday night?
Yes, so Ryan Kent's outside now. If he comes through this session, he should clear to come back in the group full time. Ryan Jack's looking better and closer, but I think Motherwell won't be the right decision for either of them two players, but they're extremely close. I'm sure you'll see them both before the international break. Philip Holander's progressing well. We've got a couple that have got some issues from the game on Wednesday night, but we're hoping that they're going to pull through. And Borna will be back with us for the Bromley game.
You mentioned the other night about maybe focusing on the back end of the pitch ahead of the front end at the moment in terms of the immediate issues. In terms of the defence, do you think it's down to individual errors, or is it more the whole team and more of a structural thing?
Well, look, I think what we've got here is a group of players that if there is an individual mistake, no one will shy away from that. I think we have got a group of honest lads who'll take ownership of that. And sometimes it's clear to see that someone has made an individual mistake. But for me, it's not about pointing fingers at any individuals. It's about trying to fix the collective. How can we become or get back to our best in terms of our identity, our shape, our organisation? How can we get everyone back to doing that all over the pitch? So my job's to fix the collective things. And, I think in any team or any game of football, it's imperative you cut out individual errors, of course. And I believe, obviously, our good attacking playing will become more creative off our organisation, because when we are at our best, we get both sides of the game really, really well.
As a spokesman for social media mayhem, one of the things that's been developing there is that Connor Goldson's contract negotiations have been affecting his performance. Is that something you agree with? And would you put in place any deadline for resolving that?
I don't listen to people's opinion from social media, so I'm not even sure I should really answer this question. In terms of the contract, as I said last week, it's a question for Connor himself. Maybe Ross Wilson, I'm probably third in the queue for your question mark, if you like. But I don't think, knowing Connor as well as I do and working around him, I don't think it is affecting him at all. That's my opinion on it. But in terms of where it's at and how close it is, I'm probably third in the queue to address that question for you.
You mentioned earlier about Ryan Kent, and obviously a feature of the team's play last year was the high pressing game, his energy, and also I think his work, when out of possession. Has that been tactically challenging for yourself and the coaching team to replace that within the group?
Well, I think missing a player of Ryan Kent's quality and what he gives on both sides of the games always going to have an effect. It's always going to be a challenge for other people to step in because of his high quality and the standards. And we are really looking forward to welcoming him back. And as I say, he's not too far away, so he's trained well and worked extremely hard to get back. Hopefully he can find his feet very, very quickly, and he can help us to become that little bit more consistent and get in our rhythm.
Even the last few games against Motherwell have ended in a draw. I take it that won't be an acceptable result from your perspective this weekend?
I don't think any draw is at Rangers, whether you're playing Benfica, Porto, Motherwell, Aberdeen, Celtic. I've never known a draw to be good enough or acceptable at this football club, so I don't see it changing in the next 48 hours. The reality is, on the outside, the expectation and the demands of this football club are to win every game. That's the way it is. We accept that, and we have to certainly accept it come Sunday.
Also wanted to ask you about some rumours that Cardiff City are considering Michael Beale as a potential candidate to replace Mick McCarthy. Have the club received any communication on this?
Did you say Cardiff City?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge. I've been with Michael all morning. He hasn't mentioned it from a personal point of view. The club haven't brought it to me, so I assume it's speculation at the moment. In terms of, do I think Cardiff would be interested in Michael Beale and other teams for that matter? 100%, because he's top of his job.
Hi Stephen, you've spoken pre-season about the need to continually adapt and vary your play, because opposition managers have obviously seen your system for a number of years now, and we've seen that work against St Mirren. When you speak about fixing issues, does that come into developing more variation in games so that you can win more games by changing things in game?
Yeah, it's in certain parts. From an attacking point of view, I've said we need to have more variety and give opposition teams different issues and problems to think about. We have a certain principles of play and certain non-negotiables that don't change, whatever your system, whatever your personnel. So when I'm alluding to maybe our identity, it's more getting back into that. And once you get the principles right, I believe we've got the variety and the personnel to throw different issues and problems at teams. So it is something that we are working on and working towards, but these things don't happen overnight. So yeah, that's the challenge and that's the opportunity, especially when there's certain things to address and fix. We see it on the inside as an opportunity to get better and improve. We don't really over concern or worry too much that too much is wrong or listen to opinions on the outside, because if you do, you think the world's going to end very shortly.
Just finally, can I ask about Fashion Sakala? You mentioned after the St Mirren game that he perhaps didn't have the impact he'd have wanted, but obviously he comes on against Aberdeen and wins the penalty, but he won the ball back to win the penalty in the first place. Yeah,
I thought the three of our subs against Aberdeen had a positive impact. I thought Scotty come on and was really brave. He nearly got us that winning goal when he smashed into the post. Scotty's been training a lot more like Scotty Arfield, and it's given me a lot to think about at the moment. which we expect, because when I do challenge Scott or we ask a question of him, he always comes back stronger. Credit to him. Fashion's appearance against Aberdeen was a lot more positive than it was against St Mirren. So he needs to build on that and not just be an impact player, be someone who can break into the team and play 90 minutes and find a consistency in his game. Probably very similar to Scott Wright, who again came on and looked lively and looked aggressive. So the subs have given me something to think about on the back of the Aberdeen game.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
All right. Honest as always, things on the right. We have a lot of work today, but the proof of the pudding's in the eating, Bridgeman.
Indeed it is, as we all know that, and I like the way the manager handled that. That maybe got a thorny issue to him, that if he thinks about it, someone asking about his assistant, the main coach, what's going on, you know? So all of a sudden someone is asking that question, and he's, by the sound of him, he's never heard about it, and his coach hasn't told him in. So well done, Stephen Gerrard, for answering that. I think he's really good. His explanation of some of the things going on round about the game the other night there, the penalty decision. I absolutely love that. I love the way he handles it. He's such a professional, in my opinion. Brilliant. Well done, Stephen Gerrard. Well done.
The stat port bear about 1 game in 50, it's true, but we can't kid on. We're not playing well.
Oxford, that's. I listened to an interview today, and you know, I'm not saying it made me angry when he said that, but it's all right hanging on to that start, mate, innit? But that start's not what we're watching this season. When he's got that 1 defeat in 50, I get that and I appreciate that, and the club's still able to achieve that. But it's just papering over the cracks, innit? It's papering over. You know, he's talking about identity and, you know, the system again. It's the same stuff he's regurgitating time, week after week, and we keep backing him, we keep saying to him, you know, that this week's going to be the week, this week's going to be the week, this game's going to be the game where we're finally going to get back to ourselves. And I understand about, you know, injuries and stuff, Oxford suspensions that we had early doors. You know, I think we've, you know, gravely missed certain players, mate, who've proved to be more important than I ever probably ever thought. Guys like Ryan Jack, Ryan Kent, even though Ryan Kent didn't have a great start to the season. But every question that was asked by him, every one of them reporters tonight, mate, I've listened to your show all week, listened to you all discuss it. They're probably some of the toughest questions I've heard the gaffer getting. Handled it well. But that 1 in 50, mate, for me, in my opinion, just covers up the cracks at the moment. It's like firefighting.
Yeah, we get it. Well, particularly Ibrox, I think it's 1 in 4. We've drawn 3 in the last 4 games at Ibrox. So you turn around and say your last 4 home games, you've only won 1, Bridge. You can make stats mean anything for you, you know?
Yeah, when I listen to some people, by the way, I have to say, some of you guys, when you come out with them, some other times, the figures sound absolutely superb. I'm not keen on the manager getting involved in stats at all. Admittedly, it was a really good start, you know, for him. You know, we only lost 1 in 50, and that's the truth. But my goodness, we watch it. We've been watching it this season, and it's not very good, is it? It's just not very good. So I'd rather the manager didn't go to say these things, but I'm happy. I'm over the moon with the manager in general. I'd rather we didn't go into these stats things because they're easily found out and easy to change, you know.
Aye, but even if you say we're undefeated, the last few games, the performances Ibrox were talking about, collectively, Motherwell, Hibs, Aberdeen, Hearts. There's been spells when we've been excellent, but there's been spells when we've been really poor.
Aye, 100%, mate. And many times we went behind in these games. And granted, they've showed a bit of character and come back. But many times we go and give teams a lead start Oxford. We gave Aberdeen 2 a start in 10 minutes the other night. You know, many times we go and let teams, you know, it seems to be we need to get a team a start before we even start to play. Then we have a wee spell where they look decent and back to some of the sort of usual Rangers form we see. But then there's spells a game where they just get right out of the game and the team seems to dominate. And I mean dominate at Ibrox as well at times. Hibs had great spell when they played the Hibs game, the Hearts game as well. It's definitely not the same side Oxford. I've got, a wee sort of, it's only my own opinion. I've got main players out. Hollander for one for me. Ryan Kent and Ryan Jack. For me, them three missing is having a drastic effect. And the reason I'm saying about Ryan Jack is because when Tivetin is balling forward, Ryan Jack sits and covers that space. So there's not a big gap between Goldson and Tav. And it's the same when Hollander and Borna, Kent and Kamara are on the left. Kamara used to sit in when Borna was going forward. And we used to press teams as well, and the tempo was quicker. But I ain't seen that. And I know suspensions and injuries have put that, caused disruption to that. But we thought we'd players that could step into these positions and, we wouldn't miss them as much. But it's proven the quality, mate, in my opinion, is not the same.
Aye,
but if them three guys are back, you can, yeah.
Squad players and first team players are two different things, Bridge, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Two entirely different things. Squad players are squad players. I know we're all in the squad, if you know what I mean. But in variable, squad players wouldn't play anywhere near as many games or be selected as many times as first team players, and that's the truth. It's really difficult. And I agree with Port Bear was saying just there a second ago. We're just going over old ground, We're just going over old ground. We've said these things before. One of our problems is two of our more fitter players can carry the game and carry the game well and bring people into it aren't available at the moment. And I'm speaking from a midfield to the forward perspective. We have Ryan Kent and Ryan Jack. They've been really good for Rangers and they've done marvellous stuff for us. And Big Helander at centre back will make a big difference if he gets back as fit as he could be. He'll make a big difference for us. Other than that, I'm afraid we've got people who've said over the last night and the night before, they're quite slow, look very ponderous, particularly up front, and they don't seem to be doing what a striker and his partner can do. You got a Mark Haitley and an Ali McCoist. You know that somebody will be trying something somewhere, and if it comes off, they're going to have a wee chance at goal. I'm afraid that type of football isn't there for us at the moment. I just don't see our forwards being as pacey as that. We need to change, in my opinion, we need to change the style of play slightly when we're attacking. It needs to be changed slightly. Other than that, we get somebody who can up there and head the ball and get Borna and Tavernier right up in the corners again, taking lovely shots into the box. We might do something, but we're not doing that. I'm bored with everybody else.
No. I think it's difficult to put your finger on Port Bear. Is it style? Is it substance? Is it shape? Is it personnel? You could argue about all of them, but ultimately, as a collective, we just aren't hitting the heights.
No, I'd like to ask you and Bridgeman something. I'm going to pick on something the manager says in his interview, and it was regards to, he sees them working hard in training. He trusts them. He says, as far as he's concerned, they're all behind him. They're all doing their job. They're all giving it their all out in the pitch. That's not true. That's not true one bit. I don't believe they're giving them everything. I believe he trusts them, and I believe he'll have, he'll have his generals through that squad, that he can trust 100%. But there's something I miss, mate, and I'm wondering. Things come to an end, Oxley, right? I'm going to say it, and I hope listeners don't mind. Things come to an end. All good things come to an end. Is this team run its course? That's one of the problems. Is the style, the management, the coaching? If they taken it as far as they can take this project? And then obviously the third one, I'm going to say the transfer window in the summer. Adding Sakala and Lundstrom on free transfers and I know that people will say we didn't have the money, but if Gerrard was desperately wanting somebody Oxford, like the Veerman boy, why did we not just go out and get him Oxford? Because for maybe spending 8 million in Veerman, that might have been the guy. I'm not saying he would have been the be all and end all squad Oxford, but it might have been of the quality to take your team that next step where we would have beaten Malmo, we would have got into the Champions League proper, and the squad would have probably spent more money after qualifying.
And what happens
again,
if you didn't?
You know what I mean?
You didn't beat Malmo?
No, but you take that risk, Oxford. You're adding quality. You're adding quality.
Are you going to write a personal check to the club for 8 million?
No, I'm not. But I think in football, Oxford, you have to take risks. If you want to move to that next level, mate, we've obviously not got Champions League players.
Is the last 11 years don't taught us anything? What, Bridgeman?
Well, you know, the points are true, what Port Bear's saying, the points are true there. But the difficulty is, if you flip it and say to yourself, if we which they've done, they took their chance and gambled that the squad's going to get them through and possibly get them through till Christmas, New Year time this year. And if they do that, then they're on a winner, because they might have some dough behind them then to pick up some players. I don't think Rangers would have afforded to spend £8 million or anywhere near that for any single player. I don't even think they would have spent £8 million on 10 players for their club. I don't think they would have done it. The finance couldn't have been there. There must have been something slightly amiss as far as the club's concerned for that not to happen. And I just feel the gamble has been taken. Rather than take it, we're spending £8 million and something goes wrong, and then we've lost that 8 million, or we don't get the best out of the 8 million. I think they've done not too bad now. When you consider where we are, admittedly, we're still sitting top of the league. We're in the League Cup semi-final, and we're still in the group stages of the Europa League. So, but it's some good news in among it all. But I'm afraid the way we're playing or the way we're letting goals in, which is actually that's the most important thing. We are letting goals in for no apparent reason. It's just poor play. We need to get that sorted.
Understand your rationale, Port Bear, but I think the gamble was made when we kept everybody. That was also the gamble, you know.
Yeah, and there's contracts renewed and that as well. I understand that, mate. I understand that, but I don't know. I never want to see a club going back to the dark days and stuff. I know, spend within your means, etc. I get that, but I do think I don't think that particular squad, clearly we were a better team than Malmo. I think that 100%, but we just didn't have that wee bit of quality above what we've had in the last 3 Champions League runs, Europa runs. Didn't have that next step up for Champions League, and I think we've paid dearly for it. And then I think the Malmo has continued to help the season stutter along. We all said Tranmere, and that was a sort of warning sign. We sort of go over that hump. We kept, top of the league. We've been there for, pretty much most of the season so far, playing this poorly. So that's a positive to me, Oxford. It really is. But now we've got teams breathing down my neck. And I think the next 10 fixtures for each, I'm going to use Rangers and Celtic example. I was looking at the fixtures today, and it's something I looked at them and think to myself, who's got over the next 10 games, who's got the better running, the easier games, if you want to say. And in current form, Rangers, it looks to me like Rangers get the toughest run because there's a lot of away games involved in that. But we need to get this going next year, we need to get them going quick. Because Ryan Jack, the 2 Ryans coming back in for a start, how quick are they going to get up to speed with the game?
Well, that's what you'll never be.
Yeah.
They might be back on Thursday.
Aye. Yep.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
The 2 Ryans coming back, but listen, mate, the 2 of them could run into each other their first game and be injured. Sport. You have to deal with what you deal with. Bridgeman. Last call.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to deal with it as it comes.
You can't.
That's a good analogy you put in there. They could, in fact, run into each other and injure each other, and then you're snookered. Look, I have to say, I'm probably the same as every single bear. We're just desperate to see likes of Ryan Kent back with a bit of speed, a bit of pace about his game back. When he was playing at his best, we wanted to see that player back. And that he put the fear of God into some of the teams we played. There isn't when we say we don't see how great no great player in among our team, the enemies, the people we play against, don't see it either. They've got nothing to fear about Rangers. Nobody in Rangers frightens them. Morelos he doesn't matter because they stick 3 players in about him and he's not going to get the ball. Simple. But that's the way I feel about it. It's to me, we're desperately keen getting likes of Ryan Kent, particularly Ryan Kent, may I say, and let's hope he comes back. Everything all flying and gets on with the game, scores a few goals, gets his confidence right up. That's what we're looking for, and get us over to the new year. Get us to the new year, still top of the league. That'd be wonderful.
Aye, but look, is it all doom and gloom? Are we overreacting? Or the emotion on Wednesday night, is that the factor? Or, like I said last night, Port there, it's been crap all season, if I'm being honest. Excuse my words there.
Oh, sure, I listened last night, and usually sometimes you sit and you listen, all week you're sitting going, oh, he's been a bit harsh, he's been over the top, etc. But since Wednesday night, everybody that's called in, yourself, Bridgeman, whoever else been on the panel, etc., I've not disagreed with any one point that anybody's made, whether it's been positive or negative. We've gave this squad, the manager, the coaching team, the highest of the highest praise. Oxshire. I've watched a lot of the teams we've played, Benfica, Porto, and the Europa Cup and stuff like that, in Champions League this year, and I've watched some of the other smaller teams like Rapid Vienna, Young Boys. I've watched them all, really develop. And if we played them the way we're playing now, mate, it would absolutely wipe me flippers. Whereas we were competing with them teams last season, the season before. Yeah. I can't understand, mate, how the wheels are come off the bus. I can't get it. Is it a coaching problem? Is Michael Beale not firing the squad up anymore? Is that gone? Are they sick of listening to him? You know what I mean? At Oxford, you can just switch off with somebody. All of a sudden, the instructions, and you're like, don't like this guy's style anywhere. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'd love to have my finger on it, but there's something off, mate. Steven Gerrard can cover up what he likes, mate, and put the 1 in 50 thing, spin on it if he wants, but that team ain't performing to the levels, and we're not moved forward again to that next step in his 4th year coming up. We're still on the same sort of level as a Europa team, but there's other ones overtook us again next year. We're going back. I feel we're going back, mate. Maybe that's harsh, but
if you take the performances in isolation, I don't think you're harsh. If you take the league table, people for other teams would say we're being harsh, Bridgeman.
I think us as Rangers Radio, some of our guys have been quite harsh on the team, and I think when you read like follow, there's some very extremely honest people in there, and they call a spade, and they say what they see, or sorry, they see what they say, whatever it is, and we have been on this programme. We've got good critics. I believe we've got good critics that don't go too harsh and don't go too soft. And I think we've certainly got a happy medium as far as that's concerned. And I'm happy with that. I don't want anybody to go way over the top because, as I said just a minute ago, we're sitting here 2 points clear at the top of the league and we're still playing not so good. We're not playing very well at all, particularly at Ibrox. For some reason, we're just not doing it at Ibrox and the players need to wake up.
What do you think yourself, Oxshire? And coaching-wise, from a coaching point of perspective?
There's a lot wrong, a lot of individual errors. If you take the 2 goals we lost at the weekend, obviously goals, and I know what Albert says that John McLaughlin shouldn't have given the ball, but we've been doing it for about 3 years now, this pass to the side, and then he makes a mistake when he shouldn't have given to Lundstrom. Then Lundstrom gets shoved off like a wee boy. So there's individual errors in there. For me, the two of them, they were responsible for the first goal. The second goal, it's come right into the centre-half's area. So I want my centre-halves, and with Bassi in there, we'll get 3 there to win that ball. That ball's in the middle of the goal. Come in flat. Somebody should be heading it. Then you've got the run off a Tav, which is poor. Shoved a wee bit with Brown and then blocked with Golson again. So Tav's responsible big time for the second goal. Then you go back to the Hearts goal. Mackay, who never makes any errors for us. Traps the ball in the last minute. Ends up in the back of the net. There's a lot of individual stuff in there, but if you take that out and then you start dissecting the games, we ain't playing well. We're not creating enough round about goal. All these shots mean nothing, because look at the second half on Wednesday night. That guy never had a save to make. We're pushing for an equaliser. At the start of the second half, everybody's up for it. He never had a save to make.
And remember how poor they've been playing, mate. Remember where they are in the league.
Aye, but
their manager going to get sacked, and we struggled to put them away.
Aye, but we never. Their goalkeeper never had a save to make. So there's something wrong either in the shape, or the personnel, or the coaching, or a combination of everything. Or it could be just something as simple as just the whole team's void of confidence. Because I'm not used to this, but it looks a bit more than that. But I can't put my finger on it and say that if we've done this, things would get better, because I'm not getting the answers, Port.
Aye, I agree with that, mate. Like yourself, I don't think it's just one thing, though. I think, as you said, you touched on there, it could be, coaching, void of confidence. It could be a number of wee factors. Individual mistakes is another one, as a third one. So until we stop the individual errors, which would take a problem away. So that's, you got to deal with your coaching, your shape, getting players back would solve another one. Your first team players, squad, instead of squad players going in there. So no, it's a hard one to pin down, mate. But I think every week we kept saying it. It's going to improve. It's going to be this game. It's going to be this game, and it's still not happened. I can just sense the frustration on the show and beyond the show. Growing this after Wednesday night, it was pretty. Some people have been pretty raw, mate. Let's just say.
Talking about guys who are never raw. We've been Johnny Below. How we doing, Below?
You said that without laughing. Well done, mate. Evening, boys. How you doing?
Evening,
all right, Below.
No bad. Tell yourself.
Good.
Anyway.
Cheers.
No, listen, I'm phoning in to stop you guys cutting your wrists here. It wasn't sounding good. I thought I'm going to phone in and start telling jokes or something. I agree with everything that everybody says, and it's pretty well what you're saying. The funny thing is, you've got hundreds of us listening and calling in, and none of us can define what the problem is. Can you imagine how? I mean, all right, I know it's their job and they're professionals and the rest of it, but it must be quite difficult if they're seeing these guys performing on a daily basis on the training ground and the rest of it, as I say, because obviously that matters, or they wouldn't be talking about it. So if it's that difficult for us to put our finger on what it is, and like you say, in some games we play brilliant for 20 minutes, half an hour, sometimes even the whole first half or second half, and then suddenly everything goes to buggery. It just isn't a thing. It isn't a thing. And like Bob Sheridan said, is it confidence? Is it this? Is it that? There's no knowing exactly what it is at the moment in time. I've got my opinion about some things, and Gerard denying that he's got any knowledge of Michael Beale being Gerard's trying to pretend he doesn't look at the papers. He must look at the papers and he must know what's going on. He's not a mug. So maybe things like that are having an effect in the dressing room. I mean, it can be confidence, because we walked through last season, we played really, really well at the time. We never lost a game.
That's gone. That's 20 games this season. Past year's 20 games away.
Well, he did tell us to forget about last season, and it seems like that's what's happened then. But it shouldn't be a confidence thing. But again, there's been a lot of changes to the team, like week in, week out. Guys like Arfield that maybe played quite a lot of games last year, not getting a game and all the rest of it, and then losing Hollander, Katic coming back to fitness and getting sent away.
Katic, was they at fitness levels to play for the first team, mate? It wasn't close.
Maybe not for the first team, but I think when you're as short as you are, and obviously when he went, we weren't as short as we are now, but it was a gamble to send him away, especially it turned out for the youth team in the Man's League, and apparently for the guys that I spoke to that watched the games, they said Strolled it. Aye, piece of cake. Down Dumbarton, they said it was like, honestly, it was like a man amongst boys. It was clear. It was controlling everything. Took him out for lost 3 goals. So he maybe wasn't fit enough or ready for the first team, but he couldn't have been far away. And I must admit, see, in hindsight, if you look at the fact that losing Hollander when we did, if we'd lost him a week before Katic went, he would never send Katic out, even if he wasn't ready for the first team. They would have worked on him one way or another. They'd have got him game somewhere. But things like that. So, and again, there's other elements of the thing, like, I worked in a place where there was one guy in the team and he was always late all the time. Never bothered me. I didn't give a toss about it. But there was 2 guys, there was only a 6-man team, and 2 guys hated him. Hated him because he got away with it all the time. He didn't get pulled up, he didn't get written warnings, he didn't get the bullet. Like I said, it didn't bother me, it didn't bother 2 or 3 other guys, but we were aware of it. It did clearly affect the team. And I think the likes of the big man no signing his contract, that will affect people's happiness. Whether you like it or not, I don't see there's no way it wouldn't.
Well, we took John Lundstrom, mate. You run with the foxes and hunt with the hounds, mate. Yeah.
Aye.
I
agree.
And work for you, no work for you. Yeah.
That's true. And what you're saying earlier on, I mean, I think it was Port that said about, we should have signed somebody in like we took freeze and all the rest of it, we should have taken somebody, signed them on. But I thought they did well keeping the players that we wanted to keep, as opposed to sort of losing, as opposed to spending money on somebody new. I thought we had a good squad and a good team, but I would like to have strengthened it. But I still think we did really well to keep the players that we had. And that's how I felt about it coming at the break. I thought we did all right.
Aye, it's a ruthless game, Billy, and we'll go to bridge after you with us. It's a ruthless game. It's known when you've got to cut and move on, and decide when you've got the best out of somebody and it's time to move on. It's the master of it was Alex Ferguson, mate.
Completely. Well, I did mention that the other day. I was talking to somebody and I said, well, I think it was on here when I said about the big Dutch centre half. What was his name?
Jaap Stam.
Jaap Stam. He came out, opened his mouth. 5 days later, he was playing in Italy. He was gone. I think it took everybody's breath away how quickly that happened to him. But it's just the way, let's say that's the way Ferguson did it.
But look, can I just say, Fergie said he had to move Jaap Stam. So there must have been something other than a wee fallout, I think.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that, but the fact is how quickly and how efficiently dealt with it.
That was breathtaking.
I wish I could tell you.
Uncle Yap will tell you, will he not?
I could tell you.
Get it, tell.
You can tell us the next time I meet you at the bistro. You can tell us when I meet you at the bistro.
I've got a good idea what it was, but obviously we're loath to say, truth be told.
Silence, no balloon.
Aye.
What I've got nothing to say. I've said what I have to say. Like I said, different, all different interpretations for the same sort of thing. But it's a complicated thing, and I think, given how badly we performed on average, and still being where we are in all the competitions, I would have taken that every day of the week. If we can't really play much worse than we have been, and we've certainly demonstrated we can play a lot better. So hopefully, the missing link, getting a couple of these guys, 3 of these guys, maybe even 4 of these guys back in again, is just going to be the gel that gets everything going. I don't believe there's very much wrong at all anywhere. It's just, it seems to be, like I said, if 150 of us listen every night, or however many there is phoning in, can't put our finger on it, then it can't be very much in it. So I would have a bit of hope about this. I think we're not far away, and I know on evidence, looking at what you see, we're only talking about the bad stuff. We've played brilliant for a bit of times, absolutely brilliant for a bit of times. So I think if we just get the chins up and get on with it, and hopefully we'll work our way through this.
No, it's a bad combination. You're not scoring at one end and you're leaking soft goals at the other.
I know that. Well, we weren't leaking any goals last year, and we were scoring it.
Gone. The 20 games, mate. Last season's gone. Forget about it.
Oh, I know that. I know, but you've still got to measure it against something. But I mean, last year we never lost any goals.
You know, measure it against this season. Measure it against Tannadice. Measure it against Ross County away. We still lost 2 goals. Measure it against Aberdeen. We lost 2 goals.
Well, let's look at the common denominator then. What do you think the problem is? Because clearly the defence is the problem. We're still scoring enough goals to win games, but we're conceding more goals than we conceded last year. But the common denominator has to be the defence. But
as Linda gave you the start, I think it was last week. It's the goals we're scoring. You score goals, Port Vale then Bridgman. You score goals, it changes the whole game. Port Vale.
Of course, if you go to like Aberdeen did the other night and get that goal early doors, it takes the pressure off you. It lifts you. It lifts the stadium. It lifts your mood as a player, and you go on, and you can settle into your game. But one thing we've not been doing either, Oxford, you've just hit the nail on the head. We're not scoring enough. We're leaking goals. But there's another thing we're also doing. We're lacking absolute quality. We're lacking creativity. I don't think they're creating enough either. And then obviously the strikers with their back to goal constantly. There's nobody running behind. You touched on Oxford the other night. There's no pace. When you play, I'm going to have to say it, Hadji and Roof and Morelos up front. I can run faster than the 3 of them. You know what I mean? I probably could. I can probably run faster than the 3 of them.
You're stretching it. You can't even play and tear your calf muscle for God's sake.
What's your hamstring, mate? What's your hamstring?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think we're off.
50-year-old trying to play football. Sorry, 44-year-old trying to play football.
45.
Really, Lou's right as well, and everybody's been right. We're watching it every week. Well, certainly not me. I'm watching it on the TV most of the time. Excuse me, but when you think about what we watch at Ibrox when we're playing at Ibrox, like the other night's a prime example. I mean, we watched a team where people who are playing in defence, a mixture of youth and age and experience, and one of them is almost out and out Rangers hater you'll ever hear and you're ever here playing football. And my goodness gracious, we made it hard work of that. Really hard work. However, we did have most of the possession for the game, and we had more shots, a lot more shots than they did, and so on and so forth. But it gave me nothing in that sense. We ended up just the same goals as them. And I would like to know, I don't know what you guys think, but how come every single decision that goes Rangers' way gets a 3-day discussion?
It's agendas, mate. It's agendas. We know they've all got agendas. Yeah, it's simple. You can see right through it. I told you, don't buy, don't click, don't read, and don't watch the programmes. Anyway, we've been joined by David. How are we doing, David?
Not too bad, Ox. And how's things there with the guys?
Well, obviously it's
been right, David, yourself.
It's been a sad week for the club, mate.
It certainly has, That's one thing than another,
Aye. How are you, mate? What's on your mind?
Well, we keep going on, and I was phoning to you before about this. And I think the biggest problem we've got is the fitness. We can't last for 90 minutes. We just can't play for 90 minutes. And the guys are not moving about. You see them, they're like statues. They'll pass the ball and they'll stop. Mm-hmm. And you see at the start of the game when they're warming up, you see them knocking the ball about and they're 5 against 5 or whatever it is. And they're really zipping the ball about. We should be doing that on the park. And we're standing about and we're not putting the work in. And that's why I think there's something to do with fitness. Because I came in a couple of years ago, Man City, when Pep went there, he had the monitor and seen how much distance they were covering. And he didn't think we were doing enough. They boys are I think at the time it was about 10 k's a game they were running. And he upped it, and it ended up about 14 k's they were doing during the game. And we're not doing nothing like that. Because the guys you see them, they're standing about, they'll make a pass, and that's it. Whereas they always can. When you're in possession, you move about, you make yourself available. They're nobody doing that. We were doing that bits last year. And when the boys are in possession, we stand about, and we stand too far back after the teams. And we're letting teams come on to us instead of working as a unit. Defence and midfield should be together, then the midfield and the forwards. They should be working as a unit. We're not doing anything like that. They need cohesion with the team and that.
Listen,
the other thing I would like as well, staff keep getting slaughtered. Now, we used to have the same when we had Rickson playing right back. And Rickson, they moved him forward. He was a player of the year. Surely they should be putting Parsons at right back and moving Tab up a wee bit, because the amount of goals that we get off of Tab and assists.
I'm not sure about Tab in midfield, mate, personally, but that's a personal thing. But what I'll do is, your first point, I'll take that to Port Bear, because he can't last 90 minutes neither. Port Bear?
Aye. All right, Dave, how you doing, mate? No, it's fair point.
I'm okay, Port.
It's another problem, and I totally concur. I think there is times where we don't look fit. We've been a one-half team all season. Whether it be the first half, we see if we can get a grip of the game and we're going to win it, or we have to lose goals, go one behind in the second half, or in the mid sort of 50 to 70 minutes, we seem to pick up and go and get back in the game, and then eventually, win the game. But that'll run out eventually, mate. See, this it did run out against Aberdeen. Went behind again, but we didn't have enough in the tank to go and finish the job. And it's round the corner next, Dave. Round the corner, a tough away tie at Motherwell, and a defeat maybe. This is the way it's heading, in my opinion. And it's due to everything we're talking about: no cohesion, fitness, coaching, shape, individual errors, which is absolutely hammering us at the moment. But I absolutely agree with the fitness side, what you're saying, mate. Totally agree with that.
There's another thing as well. There isn't any width in the team.
Couldn't agree more, David.
Yep.
If you've not got the fullbacks balling forward, there's no width.
Do you think, guys?
I couldn't agree more. I've been banging about that on that. It's been more prominent to me that when Van Kent played, he played narrower. Scott Wright played narrower when he played there. Hadji's playing narrower when there's no room. He can't create because when we started. And then whoever we play, even when Joe Aribo's played up there, he's played in narrower. And then when the fullbacks get the ball, they go towards them and they actually kill the space for us. We actually kill the space. So there's no width. The wingers isolating fullbacks, etc. We've not done it. Lou?
Well, can't really disagree with much of what's been said there. I actually personally don't think the fitness is an issue. I think it's they don't seem to have any idea what to do next. There's no plan B, there's no plan C. It's like they run out of ideas to a certain extent, and nothing changes it for the sidelines. There's, like you say, the wide players are the boys that are normally up front. Like you say, they're cutting out the areas. I mean, how many times has Barisic and Tavernier ran up that wing, and then whoever it is that's in their place is wanting me past 2-3 yards away from them? It's absolutely pointless. You should be making space for them. You should be moving and making them space for them to run into. And they seem to be doing this tappy stupid thing where there's no football involved. They're just keeping the ball for the sake of keeping the ball. They're running out of ideas, and whoever it is that's actually working on that element of the game in the background isn't getting it right, and he's not seeing what's missing. Because if we've all said the same thing, we'll say the same thing in different ways, but it's exactly the same thing, that there's nothing happening, there's no width, there's no pace. I can see it, you can see it, everybody else here can see it, so how can they not see it? And if they can't see it, then they're not the guys for the job. There's something not right in the background, there's no doubt about it. There's something either changed or, I don't know, somebody's asleep at the wheel. but it's pretty clear that there isn't the urgency that you need. You can't expect to have a game every 5 or 6 days against a local opposition that are going to just flood the midfield, flood the defence, stop your wing backs getting up the park, and think we just keep doing the same thing and it's going to work. Because what's happening is we're running into a brick wall and we're not actually trying to manage how to work through it. And I know you don't like the fact that Hagi can't run fast and all the rest of it, but he's not designed to run fast. He's designed to do wall passes. He's designed to pick out passes. How many goals has he created with his ability? These guys are there for a purpose. They're not to run up and down the wings.
No money this season, mate.
No, I know that, but that's because the rest of the guys aren't making the movement. People aren't making movement. They're not doing what they were doing before. And I don't put it down to the fact that other teams are wiser because we've been playing like this for 3 years. Our quality should be better than that. But what seems to be happening is, whoever it is, it's obviously we've persevered with the new signings and things like that and trying other new signings in. So maybe there's been too much change in order to try and maintain what we were actually doing the season before, to try and keep that sort of momentum, that sort of mentality about. But it's obviously clearly not working. But at times it does work because we've all said it. Some of the games we've played absolutely brilliant stuff. Was it the Hearts game first half? Absolutely stunning stuff. But we're not keeping it going for 90 minutes. We're not terrorising these people for 90 minutes. And that's what we should be doing. We should be terrorising them, getting the ball, playing it too fast for them to think, getting into their faces,
just checking the history books there, looking at the Hearts game. No, there's no an asterisk next to it. This is stunning stuff. It says 1 each.
I know, but that's the end result you're looking at. You're looking at.
By the way.
You're looking at a scorecard, but there's no pictures on a scorecard.
I'm looking at the history books and I'm just looking at it. No, there's no asterisks.
But there's no pictures on a scorecard. But you know yourself, you were at the game and you saw what happened in the first half. But what my point is if we can do that in the first half, we should be able to do it in the second half. And that's what we're trying to discuss here. We're trying to expand how we're in the situation we're in. And the situation that we're in is because we aren't doing what we should be doing all the time. And the guys that are on the sideline that are paid to actually organise all this either can't see it or are willfully ignoring it. And in either case, maybe what Port Bear said earlier on is that maybe these guys have run their track. Maybe they're finished their race.
You never know, mate. You never know. Anyway, we've reached that time of the evening. Get yourself some mute.
Right.
Of a tune.
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, though at times they have been hard, we've followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park.
Scotland's gallant few.
to cheer the boys in blue. The most successful team in football was Scotland's gallant few, whose times they have been hard, will follow near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands at Ibrox Park. Whoa.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, it's all good stuff, Billy. It's all good. It's all about opinions. There's definitely something wrong. Can't put a finger on it. I think David's got some interesting points. Fitness. We just don't. We're fit and fresh with ideas. We've looked void. We've looked void of confidence. We've made individual errors. Our shapes look wrong at times. Maybe our tactics are wrong. We've maybe tweaked it. It's not worked. We could go on and on and on. But we've got to look forward. And we've got a big game coming up, maybe on Sunday if the weather stays fair. If the weather stays fair, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the team is for Sunday, Port Bear.
Aye, he's got a choice, isn't he, mate? Goalkeeping position probably. Davis, Lundstrom. There's probably a question in that. When's it time to start fading McGregor and Davis out, for the new guard, old guard out, new guard in, etc. But the manager's got massive decisions in his hands, mate. I know he said it's too early for Kent and Jack yet, maybe the next game. But all the team he's picked so far, mate, I know he said that Arfield's been showing up well in training. Maybe Arfield deserves a start in the midfield somewhere next year. I've no idea, mate. But what needs to happen, again, I keep mentioning it was last on, we need to start raising the game, mate. We need to start lifting this team. What does it say about the rest of the league? If we're playing so poorly, we're still sitting top, still in the semi-final. With
the greatest of respect, I'm not interested in the rest of the league. I'm only interested in the one team.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about guys we're not interested in, we've been joined by Alex Kelly. Evening, Alex. Sorry, Alex.
You're bad to me, Oxshire.
How we doing, mate? All right.
Good evening, boys. Good evening. Just before I start, I wanted to pay a wee bit of respect to Walter's family. I've not been on for Tuesday. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law died the same night, so
all right. Well, before you go any further, condolences to you and your family, for everybody here at Rangers Radio, mate. Right.
Yeah, thank you. But it was a horrible day. It was a horrible day. Yeah, no bother. By the way, brilliant show you did. I listened in that night. Absolutely fantastic. Everybody spoke well, and a brilliant tribute to a great man. So well done, guys. I just wanted to pick up on something Baloo said earlier. I totally agree with you, pal. I've been saying for a wee while regarding the Connor Golson situation. I think that's the reason. It's caused fractions within our dressing room. Gerrard's main guys that he trusts is his captain and his vice captain. That's a go-between between the players and the manager and the staff. We've got a main guy in his dressing room who Gerrard trusts. He's the guy that he goes to. If it's not his captain, it's his vice captain. And I think there's been a broken trust there. And I think Gerrard's feeling let down. I think Tavernier's feeling let down. And I think it's caused fractions in relationships throughout the team.
Is this a fact or an opinion?
No, it's just my opinion, pal. I've been quite consistent with that. I've said it for a few weeks, but I also think we're putting ourselves under pressure by losing the first goal. I think that's 8 times this season we went behind, and that's causing problems as well. We're not reacting quick enough.
Aye, okay, aye. Oh, listen, mate, We don't know what's going to happen with Conor Golson's contract. Looks, a lot of people say he's working his ticket, and they may well be right. Yeah, but that's modern football and something that all clubs have to deal with.
Mm-hmm. But look at what Edward caused across the road. For the last couple of years, that was a big factor in their demise. And I feel that
did it.
But there's plenty of guys done it.
And Charm.
But as you say though, I can't argue that.
To be honest with you, I think Bridges worked his ticket with us to go on his scan.
I thought he was going to the BBC.
Oh, he's wanting a new mute button.
Dear. I asked Mrs. Briggs to Google the BBC. I'll not tell me what she's come up with. Right. Really.
Right, Jamie, I'm a senior as well. It's not fair, son. You tell me, bugger it off.
No, but listen, I'll come out in the wash, Alex, but we're top of the league. We're in Europe. If we win on Thursday night, we're right back in with a chance to finish second in the group. If we win on Thursday. If we win on Sunday, and if we win at Ross County, we'll go into an international break, top of the league, in a decent position in Europe. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Listen, we were 6 points in front of Celtic. We could have been about 8 or 10 points in front of them. Instead of that, we're only 2. So we've got to realise our position. We know there's something wrong, but we just can't put our finger on it. And we're getting punished.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. From a Rangers radio point of view, Port Bear, it's interesting and made the shows, I don't mean lively, but bad performances, bad results bring people to the fore.
Oh, definitely, mate. It's easier. It's a true fact, easier to talk negative, mate, than it is to praise in it. So, but this season, the team, I think, it's all our colours, mate, have been very fair. We've gave them the highest adulations. You got a caller there, mate?
I think Kenny's joined us for the first time. All right.
Yeah.
How are we doing, Kenny?
Hi, how you doing, lads? How you?
Nice
I just want to... brilliant, mate. Can I just echo what the boy's saying there about Walter? That's, so sad, isn't it? And well, it's just been one of the weeks, and
it's been emotional, mate. It's been emotional, a big part of our club, yeah.
Of course, I was a boy when Walter was managing first time, and just love him, man. Just love him. And see, when you hear the tributes that's coming in for the ex-players like Cloyster, especially Cloyster, and you just saw the emotion when he was doing that Talk Sport interview, and he's saying second fair and things. That man's just amazing, isn't he? And it's the old song, isn't it? How can you buy that? It's just, we'll never see that again, hopefully. But
you never know. Right, what's on your mind, Kenny? Okay. Great to hear from you, mate. What are you thinking?
Oh, cheers. But I was wondering, do you know, it's a wee bit ahead. Like, I'm thinking of January here. What do we need, boys? And I don't know myself. I thought about that. See the big Croat boy, do we bring him back? Or have we even got an option to bring him back,
Katic?
Aye,
we can bring him back.
What's our options? We have,
bring him back.
Would you?
At this moment in time, yes, I would.
Aye, so if we've got the option, then we're going to have to do it, aren't we? Because even when you look at the bench and you've got that boy Simpson, he doesn't fill me with confidence.
Would you bring him back?
Yeah, in a minute. But, well, it depends on his fitness. I don't know really how he's getting on. Seemingly the reports have been not too bad, but they've been a bit sketchy as well. He's in the team, out the team. But he's had a run, hasn't he? And he's sort of, the last 5 games or something, I think, out there he's been in. But it's a case of... I think it's a case of just, is he going to bring something different? Is he going to be better than what we've got? Even if you look at the bench, is he going to be better than Simpson sitting on the bench,
I think the only way you can make, if you get Ashford next to Simpson, he becomes solid.
Aye. What I've seen of the boy Simpson, he shows sometimes he's got something, and then you just lose what he does something daft, isn't it? It's like a bit of a bomb scare.
But he's not a lot of game time.
I know. Listen, I know I've not really been fair on the boy in saying that, but you're a centre back. Who do you want next to you? Do you know what I mean? Katic or Simpson?
Bridgman.
You know, so.
Well,
so anyway,
we're hoping that.
Sorry, guys.
We're hoping that Katic, when he comes back a kind of new player for himself.
Aye.
Because he had some quite serious injuries. So hopefully he gets that right. And if he comes back, shall we say, fixed and fit, then he would obviously be in front of that boy Simpson. But the truth of the matter is, we don't know. And Simpson has been, shall we say, getting battered in the training ground at home to get himself woke up and get into the game. So it could be. I like Jack Simpson. I quite like him. I think he's got a good player in it. I do, yes, I think. But it's going to take a while. Centre halves don't come out every day, you know. It takes a while.
See, us as Rangers, but sometimes maybe quick to judge, aren't we? You go, one instant success.
But remember, Bridgman liked Cavani when he played for us at the back.
Well, there you go. Boys, can I ask you a question, right? For whoever wants to answer it, can I ask you a question?
For the boys.
What have we got for January, money-wise, and what can we do?
It depends who leaves, mate. We'll know the true story of that to see the accounts, which should boot any time soon. But if you're directing a question to boys, mate, it's only me who can answer it. But if you see the rest of them, Alex Kelly, in you come.
I think we need to sell before we can buy. I think we've got to realise. I know what Port was saying earlier, but would I love to afford the 8 million for Veerman to improve our midfield, but we ended up getting the free transfer with Bacuna. Gerrard's dealt you sell the last 2 transfer windows. He's no spent a penny. There's a reason for that, because of the COVID climate. It decimated a lot of teams. Look at Barcelona, over £1 billion in debt, and they were forced to sell Messi. So we've got to speculate to accumulate, and just weigh things up. We might be having to force to sell to improve the teams in other areas.
Who would you sell?
Guys, do you think we... sorry, that's what I was going to ask, guys.
Kenny, you're welcome to take two. I could have been simply foxed up a few points.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. Learn who the boss is, wouldn't you?
No, we know who
I know. Quick learner.
Carry on, Kenny.
Oh, Sarah, I was going to say that, see this time last year, I would have sold Hadji, right? But see this year, I think he's became an integral part of your team, and I'd be looking to sell Kamara, to be honest with you. Him extending his contract there, for me, only guaranteed money.
Here we go. Thanks for the call. Don't be a stranger.
But by the way, that's why I'm so disappointed in Big Connor Golson now. I'm not looking for him to stay in a couple of years on his terms. I'm looking for to sell that big guy on our terms so we can get money back for him. And that's why I'm so disappointed and angry with him.
But do you not think, right, see Connor Golson, right, see, to be honest with you, right, he's come down for England. And the thing is, if we don't got our money's worth out the big man, and like we all want that, but can we really be angry with him for no signing a contract?
It's his choice, mate.
You know what I mean?
He's got the choice, Kenny.
That's
You're right.
Yeah,
he's got the choice. I'm going to get two to take Alex Kelly at the football and point out where he's gone wrong. Denver Bears joined us. Great to hear from Denver. Evening, Denver.
Right, guys, I'm going to go, but thank you for taking my call, right? Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Superb, Kenny.
Denver's with us. How we doing, Denver?
Thanks, boys. Bye.
Hi, Denver.
We only had the Rangers over here.
Go on, big man.
I'll tell you something. You guys, you trips, you sound like some old whining. I just spoke with a bus there and she agrees with me. What's all about, man? Yeah,
what time did the bar open?
Oh, the bar's no, it's only 2:15 in the afternoon here. Now, some of us have still got to keep the wheels of industry turning.
I know that. I know that feeling, Denver. I know that feeling. Right, give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts, Denver.
You know, I don't think we're far away, guys. I don't think we're far away at all. But my concern right now is it's either Kamara, Davis or Lundstrom. Neither two of them or three of them in the team at one time. Because they just slow everything down. And another thing I've noticed that when Kamara's in the team, Aribo's a different player. Because he always looks for the easy way out and gives Kamara an easy ball. But when Kamara's not in the team, he's head down and he's heading towards the goal. So I think it's down to movement. I think it's down to closing players down. And a lot to do with the time wasting as well. Do you know what I mean? Because when we get a bit of impetus going, the throw-ins take forever and free kicks take forever and bye kicks, man. Break your heart on watching some of that outfit, I'll tell you. But I'm still confident. I'm telling you, still confident.
You're one of the good guys, Denver. You're one of the good guys. It's worrying. It's only worrying because it's been Wednesday night's Wednesday night. One game, doesn't it? It's not the one game. It's the problem. It's the 20 games, you know. And you've watched them. You've watched them all, Denver.
I've seen them all. But funny enough, you know, like after listening to you guys directly after the game, you know, I don't get to see it till later on I get home. But it's a completely different game when you watch it, you know, after the game. You know, I mean, you're just tied up in all the drama of the game. But when you sit back and when you know the result, it's a completely different watch, you know.
All right. We've also been joined by Jordan. Evening, Jordan.
Evening, panel. How's it going?
Aye, good, mate. What's on your mind, mate?
Aye. I'm absolutely livid after that game, that performance on Wednesday night. I was normally, after if it's like a drop points game, I'm kind of disappointed or, you know, a bit kind of should have done this or should have done that. But I was really angry after that on Wednesday night, I've got to say. Mainly because how we played, how we just, that first goal was disastrous that we gave away, especially because of a tribute to Walter. I thought they'd raised their game on about 3 or 4-0, but I've got to say I was angry after that on Wednesday night. How about you?
Jordan, you've just joined the Sweetie Wife Club.
You answer you answer them, Denver. You take it. Go on then, answer them.
You know what, Jordan? See when you watch the game and you see the way we played in the first 10, I can't mind when they scored. I mean, the goals were just abysmal. But I don't know what the hell this is. Short free kick. Because I love McLaughlin's Gushing keeper. Then McGregor surprised when he did that crazy kick out to Golson. It was unbelievable, man, you know.
We've done that a few seasons now, and I can never understand why. We're no Bayern Munich at the end of the day. We can just pass it out and then just kick it out. You know what I mean? Just kick it out as normal anybody else keeper does at the end of the day. It's not difficult, but I just don't understand. It was bonkers, it really was.
That was, Jordan. Listen, Denver, you're fading in and out, mate. Yeah? You're fading in and out. I don't know where you're... Oh, he's faded.
Really? Sounds about right for somebody Denver, isn't it?
You listen to this, Bridge. Stop your whining.
He's on my bite half his bowl.
Denver's also said, tell that Alex Kelly's talking rubbish. That's his crap. Right, cheers, Denver. Right, we can't. He'll be back, hopefully back. Jordan, I get your disappointment. I don't want to put the two things together, the football match and the tribute to Walter, because the two things I've got to stay separate, in my opinion. Only my opinion. Port Bear, he's right to be angry. I don't know, angry is maybe, or disappointed, whatever way you want to dress it up, because we know that, and hopefully Denver's right and we're all wrong, and we're just going to flick this switch and take off. But we've been saying that for 10 weeks now.
Bang on, mate. you know, I love Denver to bits, mate. Really appreciate you and I respect his opinions. And, you know, Jordan sitting in the only Hedox chair, 20 games, and we're not a first gear. Our season's not even started yet, in my opinion. We've not started yet, Oxchair. And just by hook or by crook, we've managed to stay top of the league. And we're still there. I was as angry as Jordan. I was raging the other night. And even keeping it separate, the Walter thing, I was just angry. But where their position were, Aberdeen won the league. I've watched them a couple of times on Sky Sports, whether they were playing, and everybody in the league has practically beaten them. They were in the come to Ibrox and pick up points against us, go 2-0 up. That's not good enough. I echo what Jordan's got to say, mate. I really do. I was really angry. Aberdeen are an absolute mince team. Their manager's clinging on to his job for dear life, and they could have steamrolled us Oxford. But we're lucky to get a draw at it, mate.
All right, okay, mate. We've been joined by Amanda. Evening, Amanda.
Good evening, all. How are we? I'm a bit more composed than I was the last time I was on, but no, I just think Wednesday night was disappointing, obviously because we wanted to get the 3 points, but just Aberdeen's tactics on Wednesday night, just the same old team that they are. They don't play fair. They dive about, they throw about. I mean, the amount of times that players went down feigning injury on Wednesday night, that's why we added 5 minutes injury time at the end. The amount of time they spent in the ground, you know what I mean? And you just think to yourself, is this what football's all about? I don't remember football being all about this, but they just do it every time they play us. I don't know what we're doing wrong. I just don't know. But no, I'm relieved to get the draw because I had a funny feeling they were going to get a sneaky winner at the end because my heart was starting to race and I thought, no, they're going to get a winner here. But luckily, we get the draw out it. But, you know, I was just frustrated at this. I mean, all this playing back the way. You know, you've got 2 players up front and they're playing it back the way to the goalie all the time. I don't understand that, but maybe that's just me.
No, I don't think you're alone. With that. Alex Keller and then Bridgman.
Well, to echo a wee bit what Port was saying there and Jordan before him, I was pretty angry on Wednesday night as well. Everybody that was in the stadium had their own part of Walter that he wanted to pay respects for. That was the players' opportunity to pay him respects. They didn't know him. Mm-hmm. They didn't know him as a man or a person. They've obviously met him and they knew a lot about him, but they didn't know, you know, what sort of character he was for our club. That was their opportunity on Wednesday to pay their own respects. By giving us a good performance and by giving us the 3 points, and that's what made me angry. On Wednesday night.
That's what disappointed me was the fact that we could have won that. I mean, see if we'd played. I mean, there was chances, and then you're thinking, how are you missing that? How can you not? I mean, I don't play football. Right? I've never played football. I've always played netball at school, but I was never a football player. But at the end of the day, you know, you've got a team there who, let's face it, have been all right, you know, and then suddenly you've got this kind of, I don't know what to do here, you know, and I'm in panic in the midfield. I mean, all that's playing back to the keeper, I hate it. It just does my nothing. I just can't stand it. But then again, they're the ones that's supposed to know what they're doing, aren't they? You know what I mean? But anyway, it's just life.
Allegedly, yes, you're right.
Allegedly, aye. Mm-hmm.
Portbear and then Bridgman.
How you doing, Amanda? Hi. You're bang on, pal. You're bang on. On.
Mm-hmm.
The ideals, that's one of my biggest frustrations at the moment. Midfielders that seem to have run out of ideals, you know, where to place the ball. It could be strikers as well, not making the correct runs, and it's, you know, it's just not gelling. There's no cohesion, and this has been from more or less pre-season, the early Champions League games, right through up to obviously where we are at now. And we just seem to be void of ideas. You know, that final killer pass. That we've went from ruthless to toothless. That's the best way I can describe it.
I agree. I just don't know what's happened. You know, I just don't know what's going on. But that weather on Wednesday night was horrendous, wasn't it? I nearly drowned twice in puddles. But anyway, listen, I'll let you go. I'll go and let more callers come in. But listen, here's hoping we have a greater weekend this weekend. Yeah. And I'll speak to you all soon. Okay, guys?
Cheerio, pal.
Bye.
Yeah. All right. And you come, Bridgeman. It's listen, I get people's frustrations. It's hard coming on, and I think it was, I don't know who said it, Denver, when he talked about the negativity. I actually understand that. I like to think we're pretty fair on here, Bridgeman. People might see it different.
No, I think we're very fair. Look, there's an anger. It's not just there's an anger in the fans, and the anger's for particularly the last two games at Ibrox. That game against Aberdeen, absolutely shocking to lose 2 goals so quick, and then have to fight back. And when we do fight back, we kind of take it that extra length, you know. And the game against Hearts, we're fighting, we're all out to win that game, and we kind of hold out. But the last kick of the ball, it's a corner kick, and the goalkeeper makes a slip up, and then it goes. And we this is the thing that makes people angry more than anything. That makes people angry is the slip ups. So we watched the slip up against Hearts, and we watched the 2 slip ups against Aberdeen. And that Aberdeen, not a bad side, by the way, not bad at playing a wee bit of football, but we were a far better footballing side than they were when we got the chance to do it. When what we saw in the second half from Aberdeen, which makes a lot of folk angry, was the amount of play acting, just falling down, holding the face so the referee thinks there's been a head knock, and the guy was 5 minutes.
Men possessed against us.
Would you say that again, please?
I'm just saying Aberdeen are always like men possessed against us. All the
yes,
time.
No, they're not alone for that. They're not alone at start. But I'm just putting it.
I'll put it in context. Like, on the second half, we never made their goalkeeper make a save. We had all the ball. It was nothing against what Aberdeen done. It's what we done. Yeah? We never put the ball in the net in the second half.
Absolutely. I'm not saying the anger that fans feel is when they see all these things happening and we still can't put the ball in the net. We couldn't even take the ball off their goalkeeper. They picked the ball up. They wouldn't get to anybody. And I'm one of the Rangers players. They couldn't take the ball off them. And I'm saying, what are you worried about the ball? Push the ball out there to the corner there. Get the ball, go ball boy to send the ball out. Done. Anyway, sorry. That's the anger I get.
We've got to get our own house in order, Porter, then at AK.
It's your responsibility, mate. It's 100%. The players have got a responsibility. The managers have got a responsibility. Coaching staff have got a responsibility to the club, the fans. You know, and this is why you have shows like this, mate, because we have got our right to praise and also criticise a team when they're not performing. That's what this is about. You know, we've given, as I said on this show, many times such high praise to our club for European success, runs in Europe, etc. The league last year was ecstatic, you know. But if you're not doing your job next year, it's like it's just like working life. If you're not doing your job, then heads have got to roll and people have got to get their backside kicked. You know. And
you're listening to this, Bridgeman. You're listening to this.
It's just the creativity, mate. For me, the creativity for me is just absolutely. It's killing your team. You're wondering where it's coming from.
Yeah, I get
and then it's strange, absolutely strange, mate. I've not seen anything like it.
Here's a quick question for you. I was going to say we'll get some football brains on here, but I'll take that back. Right?
What shocking, isn't
it? I know.
Do you think that Steven Gerrard, who played centre midfield with distinction, would have been playing in the same place at the park that John Lundstrom would have played on Wednesday night, playing in centre midfield? I know sometimes you have to go back there and help put in. The game dictates where you go, but Lundstrom was deep for the whole time he was on the pitch. The guy who scored a goal for the edge of the box, apart from one corner kick, never influenced the game in the final third. So was that what he was told today? Did he choose to do that? We'll never know that answer. Below.
I know what I think about this. To me, there is absolutely crystal clear, no doubt about this. Our problem is defence. I know what you guys are saying. We create a lot of chances. We don't score a lot of goals. I think there's 2 games this season we haven't scored. European games, maybe even 3. I'm not sure, but I think it's 2. No, we're in each as well. So we lost 2 games in Europe. Every other game we've scored in, apart from Dundee United, obviously. We score goals. We shouldn't be losing goals. We're losing goals when we shouldn't be losing goals. If we score 1 goal, that should be enough. Walter Smith's team did it year after year.
Have a look at the stats. They never
look. You can look at stats all day long. Like you said, you can make percentages look any way you want, but it doesn't really matter what you view. The point is, we're scoring in every single game we play in, but we're conceding goals that we shouldn't be conceding, and the defence is the problem. There is no doubt about it.
Can I just jump in, guys?
When you go then, Mike Jordan?
Aye. I said before the Hibs game that I thought the way that Tavernier and Goldson were playing together, one was doing another thing. Tab is always guilty of kind of losing possession. Goldson has to cover for him. And Goldson's season was screwed on right because of the contract situation. I said it before. I always said that Patterson should be in there, and a lot of folk disagree with me. I'm just wondering now if people agree with me now that Patterson has to start, particularly maybe over Goldson.
Are you going to put Patterson at centre half?
Not centre half, no.
You mean in place of
that? I would say probably. I would certainly I think for Sunday I would drop Goldson and put Patterson in. I really would.
Who would you put at centre half then? The guy that's won and all, the majority of our headers. You're taking at the team.
I don't know. I just think he's been off. I just don't know about him. I think his head's turned right now. I really do.
Well, I'm not denying it was party in 2 of the goals we lost. But did you watch him try to get us back into the game on Wednesday night? Who was the guy?
I know.
Who was the guy that won all the headers in the box?
I know.
I
understand that.
It was
I just think for defensive realities, I think honestly Patterson is a solution. I really do honestly think that.
Instead of Connor Goldson?
I really do, honestly. Aye.
What are you talking about? Can I just come in on that?
Aye, Bridgeman, please do.
I honestly don't see Goldson ever being left out of our team. That's my honest opinion. I don't see it. He needs to do something a lot worse than the things he's done. And he did some terrible things the other night. Very weak defending, as we saw. But he makes up for that sometimes, and he comes out and he puts some lovely crossfield balls, diagonal balls, and lays on a plate for the guys going forward. But his defensive decisions over the last number of weeks there haven't been great. But I still don't think there's anybody else in their squad and are playing for Rangers at the moment that could take his place. And that's my honest opinion. I think he's the best centre half we've got.
All right, we've been joined by Southside. I think he'll be into Geezy's team, but I think this is week 59 and he's not got it right yet. On you go, Southside.
I think I might have had about 5 right, to be honest. That's about it. But no. Our team for Sunday, aye. I'm going to get back. I'll get back with McGregor. I think he'll come back in Sunday. Right back, I'm going to keep Tav in, probably because he got us a point on Wednesday night, although it wasn't a great. None of them could really. You could change a few if you really wanted to, but I'm sticking with Tav, Golson, Balogun and Bassey. Midfield, Stevie Davis, I'm bringing him back. I'm going to stick with Kamara because he gives you a wee bit more energy, and I'm going to go with Scotty Arfield on the right hand side. I'd like to see maybe him come in. Gives you the runs for midfield into the box, goal threat, which we don't have for midfield. So Kamara and Davis, Arfield up front, Aribo, Alfie, and I'd also try and put a bit of pace in this time and put Sakala in, or you could have Wright, but I'd go with Sakala.
Christian?
Yeah.
All right, okay. All right. Port Bear.
I'm going to go with keep McLaughlin in goal, simply just because his distribution in Alex Steer. I think Tav stays in, Goldson, Balogun, Bassey. I said it earlier on, Arfield maybe have to come in. The manager sort of touched on it, didn't he? He's been training well and looked more like Scotty Arfield of old. I think Lundstrom stays in, mate, Kamara. And I agree with Southside with the Sakala, Alfie and Aribo. Pretty similar to his teammate, yeah.
I think I would have maybe the same team, but I would have Scotty on the bench, I think. Lundstrom, I didn't think he was great at the weekend, and Wednesday night there, but I think he's done enough through the last maybe 6 games to get another start. But I get where you're coming from. Arfield gets in the box more, Because
it's the instruction, mate. See, during the team, that instruction, you touched on earlier on regarding Lundstrom going to sit between the two centre halves. That's like cheating for me. Just getting in there and cheating and being lazy and, sitting between your two centre halves against one striker. Because more often than not, the only player up front against us. I mean, Goldson and Balogun, Nigerian internationalist, experienced, should be telling him to get out of space and get up 20 yards, get away. The team should be up 20 yards as far as I'm concerned, mate. Because you've got Balogun's pace, Bassey's pace, Tab's pace.
Maybe if it's pushed up the park, let McLaughlin kick it up the park, we wouldn't have lost the first goal.
Yeah, there you go, mate. There you go. 100%. There you go.
Also,
but that's what I think.
Asking Lundstrom to come back. They were asking Lundstrom to come back because there was 4 or 5 Aberdeen men pushing through. That's what they're asking for. Come back here. Sorry, guys.
There's a problem with your midfield then, if that's the case, mate.
Yeah.
There's a problem with your shape,
Sorry, guys. That's why I was put Arfield in. He's talked about. I heard the manager talking about him, and it's time. If he gets a chance, he's a goal threat for midfield. We could play Lundstrom, Davis and Kamara or that, but you're not getting a goal threat, really,
Did he not score a hat-trick at Motherwell? Was it a hat-trick or a brace he got?
Arfield.
A couple of seasons ago he got
a couple of seasons ago, I think. But he's a goal threat, and he should be fresh enough to come into the team.
Well, that was a sewing they got against the post, wasn't it?
Aye, but I'd like to hope that we could maybe put him in. Did you saying Davis and Lundstrom in together, Ox? Aye, did you have they two in together?
The same as we done in Europe. We would have Lundstrom on the right, mate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Davis on in the middle. I mean, that's if Davis is fit and ready to go. We don't know how he's not been starting. Might have a wee knock. We don't know.
I was just putting him in just for the fact that he should be a bit fresher. He's not played the last couple of games. It's a big game on Sunday, so I'd like to think he can come in and probably play well for us. And up front, I was just thinking, Aribo, move him up one with Alfie, and it's a toss-up between a right or a Sakala. Or even Roof, obviously, but I think Roof was non-existent on Wednesday night. I mean, I think he wasn't in the game at all at any point. So I wouldn't hesitate in dropping him. And I think Sakala at some point has to try and come on and show something. He has pace, so playing him slightly on the left and hoping that he can get on the ball and run at them. Running at Stephen O'Donnell. Come on, do you know what I mean? Should be running by him. Bridge could run by him. No.
Good time. Right, Jordan, give us your team, mate.
Okay. I would change it to a 4-4-2 formation instead of 4-3-3 that Gerrard always plays. So for me, McGregor, you probably have a dispute this one. McGregor to have Patterson, Balogun, and Barisic is injured, isn't she? Isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Aye, so Bassey. Aribo, Arfield, Kamara, who else? Sorry, I've lost it here.
You have?
I've a few things, unfortunately.
So you put Lundstrom or Davis in there?
Lundstrom.
Right.
And Sakala and Alfie up front.
Okay, but you know that's not going to happen, didn't you?
I know it's not going to happen, but if I was Stevie G, I'd do it just to kind of freshen up things. I know it won't only happen, but that would be my team.
All right, okay. I don't know where Parsons centre half with Balogun. If you know watch the Sparta game. It'll be interesting. But young Parsons needs to get...
That's my opinion, guys. I mean, people can disagree with it if they want, but that's just my opinion. That's what I would do.
Yep.
Tell your opinion. It's still a free country, I think, the last time I looked. Well, maybe some people would say it was free, but that's another story. Right, Baloo, give us yours.
Baloo, what an idea. I would actually like to see this team playing without Goldson. No doubt about it. And I know what's been said about him. I disagree entirely with him. I just don't think he's got the qualities required. I think he makes far too many mistakes in every single game. His distribution is largely pretty poor from back to middle. His long diagonal passes are brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and that's what Stevie Gerrard likes about him. I would like to see that team playing without him, and I would put the young boy right back. I would have Balogun right centre mid. I would right centre. I would have Bassey. We don't have Barisic yet, do we?
No.
Right, so it would need to be, what's his name, Simpson?
Right.
And then Bassett at the left back. Midfield, I would have Arfield as well. I would have boy we signed in the summer.
Lundstrom,
aye. And then on the left, who do I have on the left? Kamara. And up the front, I would have Wright and the Colombian, the Buffalo. And we've got one other. I think I'd go with what do you call him? I'm shaping names, isn't I? Who have we got on the left? Come on, help me.
Aribo or Hadji?
Aribo. No, Hadji's not for that game.
Yeah.
He's not for that game, it's not for him. So that's me. That's what I'd like to see. I'd have a big change. Because they're talking about the squad, they're talking about 2 players for every position. I'd like to see us exercising it for a change.
I don't know if we get one player for every position. I don't know if we get one player for every position.
No, I see your point, aye.
Port Bear.
I've given you my team, mate. I've given you mine. It's over yourself.
A comment on them.
Oh, sorry. Aye, sorry. I respect Jordan's opinion. I respect Paul's opinion, but in my it's only my opinion, which means I suppose. I think Conor Goldson's still the best centre half I've got at the club at the moment. I think maybe on form, Balogun's edging him at the moment probably, as in performances. But to leave Conor Goldson out, who in the opposing box is very dangerous as well. You know, he scored I think he scored 8 last season as well. But like Oxshire touched on, against Aberdeen, he won nearly every header that came into the box, in the opposing box, and he does his fair share of back and all. I just don't think to go for that to Balogun and Simpson. I think it's very, very dangerous and risky. But as I said, guys, I respect your opinions.
Bridgman?
Yeah, I actually agree with Port there. I have to say that I wouldn't change my back four at all, unless Barisic is fit. But I'd keep the back four the same. In fact, I'd even stay with the goalkeeper, even if McGregor's fit. I'd still stick with
I actually thought Bassey was our best player on Wednesday night.
I did. I gave him man of the match, and closely followed by Morelos, and I think Kamara quite a good game too. But the rest of them was just ordinary. They were just not ordinary, you know. So, in my opinion, it wouldn't be far away for the team that played against Aberdeen. Let's put it that way. It wouldn't be far away for that. And this time they have to start playing football from 1 minute, from the first minute to the last minute. The referee blows final whistle. They've got to play, and they've got to play at top pace. They've got to do it. Otherwise, they're making a fool of themselves.
Any thoughts, AK?
I thought you forgot about me there.
No, not at all.
Sitting here patiently. I think Gerrard's got to make a wee statement to the dressing room here. I think he's got to show some strong management. I like Southside's idea. I think we need to start reverting back to the guys who knows what it means to play for our club, who know what it means to the fans. So I think he's got to bring McGregor back. I think he's got to bring Davis back. And I like Arfield in the team. If it's Ryan Jack there, I would love Ryan Jack, but obviously we don't have that option yet. But for me, I think he's got to bring Patterson into the team. Unfortunately, I think we're forced to stick with Golson because he doesn't trust Simpson. He doesn't trust Bassey in there. And we obviously don't have Hollander and Katic. So it's got to be Golson and Balogun. I think Bassey will keep his position at left back. As I say, Arfield, Davis and Aribo, I would play left mid. Up front, I think we've got to stick with Morelos, although his work rates need to come up a bit. But Jordan Jones ripped him apart there last year with pace. I would like to see Scott Wright start, and I would like to see Sakala start and just go at them. Ask the questions, get the first goal, put them under pressure. Because 20 games we've played this year, we've lost the first goal 8 times. Put our opposition under pressure. See if we're winning 2 or 3-0, you'll not get the time wasting what we're seeing now. But we're putting ourselves under far too much pressure, and that's what's the cause of the problems as well. It's our own downfall, so we need to rectify that.
I understand the Sakala and Wright thinking. Would you look at the park? There's a chance that can be quite heavy, and with the state already, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know
if that.
Would they would be necessarily the best on it. I don't know. Maybe Sakala might glide above it. He might come to the fore on a wet and heavy part. But we've not seen enough of him to know that.
No, definitely not, mate. We've seen bits and starts of Fashion Sakala since he's came, mate. He's definitely got raw pace. He's definitely got pace. And that would be great to have that in either wing with Buff. You know, if Buff drop deep and he's playing these guys in, then there's pace to Burnley. We can get in behind these guys finally. But that's one of the biggest problems that we've got. When Buff's dropping deep, mate, there's no runners going by him. Arfield will go beyond now if he starts and you could have Wright or Sakala using their pace to go beyond Buffalo. There's no runners going beyond him, mate, and that's a big problem. So I understand
that's what Alex saying.
Yep, you're right, Jordan.
I mean, I don't know who it was earlier on, Bridgeman. What's your thoughts on the lack of width?
Well, we've definitely got a lack of width, and the natural guys, like even Wright. When Wright goes down the wing and he gets past the guy, he hasn't put in very many really good balls. He doesn't have that zing in his pass, you know. But he's definitely got the pace. He tends to run directly for goal. I like him getting in the box because he might get pulled down. But the truth of the matter is, we can't get away from this. We're running up against sometimes 8 men. Round about the penalty box. We're starting to run in about 8 men or across the box. And it really is difficult, very difficult to thread in through there. And that's where you need to get what we talked about. Where's the width? Where's the guy standing out there that can ping a ball across and cause chaos? And they're not doing it now anyway, let's put it that way. Tav's come up with a couple of last game, but Borna, you might get 1 or 2 out of Borna at the present. Whereas last season, they're getting hundreds after both of them. It's brilliant to watch. But we're not getting it now. We need to get that back again. We definitely need it. We need that width. You're right. You're 100% right. We need the width.
And the tempo. And tempo extra.
Fair comment, mate. You can't argue with that. I mean, pedestrian at times, isn't it? Even taking a throw in, we're not in a hurry to take a throw in. And I think when we're playing these teams, we need the ball and play as much as possible, you know, and see where it takes us, you know.
It's even the press here, isn't it? It's, you know, the tempo and even the pressing. The old analogy.
You're right,
when
it's
you're
the
younger.
pressing.
Yep.
Aye. You know, we defend for the front. That's what they press. That's what they call that the modern press, doing it. But back when we were younger, it was you defend for the front. So the strikers used to go and close down the defenders, fullback, etc. We used to do that to teams, you know, week in, week out, when we were in Europe and playing on Sunday. So, you know, Thursday, Sunday, we'd still be pressing life out of teams, but we just don't seem to have the energy or desire, maybe, to do that now, mate. So tempo for me is very important. For it all to work, you know, to gel together, they have to be playing with, you know, on their toes and zipping that ball about. And like the Bridgeman says, get in behind and get wide and get these crosses into our attackers. But we need men in the box as well, mate.
Aye. Keep them out and put it in the net. It's an easy game, below, isn't it?
Dead easy. I don't see the complications of it, you know, upset about nothing. just stop conceding goals. It doesn't matter if you win every game 1-0. Just stop conceding goals. Stop conceding sloppy goals. Everybody works, defend to the very front, the way we did first season. Gerrard came. All right, I know we had some bad results, but we've got to really get the energy levels up and defend to the front. Defend for healthy. It should start right there. Because losing too many goals because people are letting runners go, they're not chasing people the rest.
I've got Ruth and Hadji in my team for Sunday.
Right, go on. Let's hear it. Let's hear your team.
No, what I was going to say, I think it's quite noticeable that nobody's mentioned the two, and I don't think the two of them can play together, and that's slighting them. I think Ruth is maybe the best finisher at the club, if you accept Defoe's finished. And Hadji's got ability, but I just don't know when him and Ruth are there, it would just take too much pace off the whole team, we might see them on Sunday, I don't know, but I don't think the two of them can play together. Maybe I'm wrong, and the two of them will get and prove us wrong. Hadji will put crosses in and Ruth will score, and you'll say, it does work, but at the moment I've not seen it. Out of possession, they run about and they don't really stop anything, and it means that they're getting on top of our midfield, and then they're outnumbered as it is, and their forwards, their defenders, bring the ball out. Sometimes it can be as much as 5 or maybe 6 against 3 in there, Port Bear,
Aye, well, we're more often than not, mate, we're outnumbered in midfield, and it must be pretty frustrating. And when you're moving the ball quick, you can get away with that when there's 5 against 3 if you're playing with the tempo and the speed of your passing and the movement's good. But as you said, if you've got Roof trapping in and Hadji trapping in and not making the space and not making the runs, it gets congested and there's nowhere for the guys to turn, and that's how more often than not you see the ball coming back to either McLaughlin or Goldson, and then they basically refresh and try again. This is where we're causing our own downfall because of the system and style we're playing right now, mate.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. Who was coming in there? Who did I hear? Was that AK?
It was myself. Just quickly, I just wanted to make a wee quick one before Bridgeman come on. I was just going to say this is time for Gerrard to start earning his corn as a manager. Walter had many situations like this where his team was getting wrote off too quickly. This is the time to regroup. This is the time to finger point. Get the sleeves rolled up, show your character, go out there, fill that jersey, wear that badge with pride, and go out there and win for that support.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we've reached that time of the evening, Bridgeman. It's over to you.
What can I say? What a fantastic night. Once again, what a fantastic night. I'm not being funny. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope everybody else loved it as well. For me, one of the best nights for a wee while. And we've come across, we've said all the things we wanted to say, and we've poured our heart out. But can I just say this? To all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio and Port Bear, every single one of us, keep it going for the Rangers. Huge game coming up Sunday against Motherwell. Huge game. Everybody get out there and do the business for the Rangers. Come on, keep it going.
Thanks to all the callers that took the time to join us this evening. Denver, it's always great to hear from Denver, even though his sound wasn't great. Jordan, Baloo, Kenny, first time caller, Dave, and I miss somebody. Amanda, of course. Great to hear from them all. Thanks to Bridgeman and the one and only Port Bear. Thanks to AK for joining us, and once again, condolences to your wife and your family, mate, for the loss of your mother-in-law, mate. But we know that. AK's, yeah. Thanks to the boss for looking after the people when they phone in. I think the boss could be an asset to Rangers Radio, but we're looking at our contract closely. Thanks to Southside for joining us with his team, and of course Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back bright and early at 11 o'clock. It's a 12 o'clock kick-off, isn't it? Just make sure I'm right. I believe it is a 12 o'clock kick-off. Yep. Let me see.
Yep, you're right.
Yep, 12 o'clock kick-off. We'll be back, Fox's favourite time, 11 a.m. Sunday morning with a pre-match show, and we'll have the team. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Take it away. Old School Blue.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, lads.
As I was walking down the road, I met a bunch of strangers. They said to me, are you going to see the famous Glasgow Rangers? So I took them up to Ibrox Park just to see the flags unfurl. After that display, they had to say, you're the best team in the world. So they sing songs about the land that they adore, and some of how London won the country's greatest war. Some others still seem quite content to use another theme, but I can sing a song about a famous football team. As I was walking down the road, I met a bunch of strangers. They said to me, are you going to see